Is this working? Happy Sunday. I hope everyone's having a beautiful weekend. The weather was gorgeous here yesterday. Today is cold but sunny, but like freezing. It makes me want to be on a beach, but that's why we're making so many stews. I think I'm in like a stew kind of vibe. So that's why our menu is what it is. Since I started a couple of minutes late, I'm just gonna jump right into it. So today we are making, I made a hiccup. I'll get there. We're making Mediterranean eggplant and butter bean stew, which is really rich and cozy and sort of rustic. It makes you, if you're into like having a big piece of sourdough and dipping it into something, this is it. It's so good, especially like a high quality sourdough. Sourdough's fermented, so it's pre-digested. It will just kind of move through the system a lot easier than other breads. Highly recommend. We're also making a spiced chicken and lemon herb yogurt. This is the hiccup. I totally forgot to defrost this chicken that I have. I'm vegan. If I don't even know. I forgot. So not a big deal because I did have something with skin on it, and that is acorn squash. So I just gave it the treatment that I told you guys to give it, or to give the chicken, and we're gonna rock and roll with acorn squash and treat it the same way because there's skin, and why not? Whatever. And if you're vegan, perfect. This really worked out for you, didn't it? I forgot to provide a vegan alternative on the list, so you can use squash. We're also going to be making a sesame, ginger, kale, and chickpea salad, which is yummy. So good. I love like a good sesame kale salad, especially like a massaged one. Crunchy chickpeas, so good. And then the last thing is something that I literally cannot stop making at home. And it's something that my friend Steph, she's Greek, she's literally like one of my favorite chefs because she just has all of her home cooking that she makes every day, like at the back of her hand. Like she knows it like the back of her hand. So good. And she showed me this. She made it for me once. Now I'm just obsessed. It's a Greek style potato and pea stew. I typically also put artichoke in it, but I skipped it this time. Just, I know that artichoke isn't always everyone's favorite, but if you wanted to, you could use artichoke in it. You could also use another half of the other half can of chickpeas in this as well if you want to add like a little bit more protein. So let's just get started. Let's do it. So the first thing we're gonna do is we are gonna put the things in the oven that we want to put in the oven, and that would be the spiced chicken, or in my case, the acorn squash. So let's move over here as we do, and I have this already going in a Pyrex. Ooh, that light. 1 second. Let me fix this lighting. Okay. Oh my gosh. I don't know why that light is so weird, but okay, we're going to see what we can do with it. I'm going to put this skin side down as I would chicken. And I already mixed in the zucchini and the red bell pepper. You can do that in the with chicken as well if you're using chicken. That's literally not a problem. I really need to fix that light. It is bugging me for all of you. There we go. Okay, it looks a little less harsh on here. Okay, so I'm gonna put the squash in the oven. And then we will, I'll put the squash in the oven, and then I'm going to put it in for like 15, 20 minutes. If you're using chicken, you're going to put it in the oven at 400, which it should be preheated already. And you'll put it in for that long as well, and then you will put it on the stove. I'll show you, but we're going to put this in the oven for 15 minutes. Throw this in here. And again, no moderator this week, so I am solo dolo going off on my own journey. So I'm gonna put 15 minutes here. Start. Okay, let's go. The next thing we're gonna make is the Mediterranean eggplant and butter bean stew. I already had some. I already started to heat up a little bit of olive oil. So what you're gonna do is you heat up the 2 tablespoons of olive oil over a pan like this with raised edges. And then you are going to put in some red onion. So I sliced it really thin. I used a mandolin and just made it really, really these thin slices. So I'm gonna put it in here. It's probably gonna start just going. Trying to get this flow down, even though it's a little. My flow isn't always, it doesn't always match the little mistakes I've made, but it goes to show you guys that, like, honestly, nothing's perfect. Kitchen or cooking is, in my opinion, a little easier than baking. You can always free ball it, which is like, hence the acorn squash situation. So yep, I don't even know what I'm saying. But we are going to get this red onion going. Get it a little heated up, a little translucent. You can skip the onion if you don't want it. It's not absolutely necessary. I love red onion. It's a good liver cleanser, and I appreciate the taste, but like beyond up to you. Get this going. Oh, one rogue red onion all over here. And then I'm also gonna add in, here we go. Guys, since the red onion's pretty thin, I'm just gonna add in the rest of the veggies, because I know it's just gonna cook up really quickly. You can see that I told you to slice the eggplant up thick, and so this is the preferred thickness. I have no idea why the strobe lighting is happening. I really apologize for it. I'll look into it for next week, or hopefully sooner. Okay, I'm gonna get this going over here. Just mix it all together. This is so yummy. I love butter beans. I don't use them enough, and I had a friend literally send me a recipe just like this, which is what inspired me to put it on our menu for this week. And everyone also always asks me about like any vegan protein, plant-based protein, like what can I, if I'm vegan, how can I get more protein in? Everyone loves protein. And this is, butter beans are a great way. All of these veggies are a great way to get in all the nutrients. And what better to do it in like a cozy sort of situation. That's why I've been incorporating more beans and stuff like this in our own recipes that we're making here, because honestly, like, I just want to show you the versatility of all these things, especially while we're in the winter and nothing's like, everything's in the pantry, everything's kind of more of a pantry item, and we are not able to rely as much on very fresh produce. There's such good sources of all of these things that we need. So goes to show, canned food is not bad, I promise. Either is frozen, because we'll be using frozen peas. Okay, so we added in all of our veggies. We're gonna add in some oregano. My friend from Greece gave me this from Greece. And add in a little bit. I think add in a teaspoon or so, whatever. If you like oregano like me, do a little bit more. Toss this together. And then I'm gonna let this cook just a little bit more until it's brown. I'm gonna add a tiny bit more olive oil in here, because I really want these eggplant slices to get like just browned, like really nice and golden. Gorge. I love eggplant coated in olive oil, if you can't tell. So good. Okay, keep this going. If anyone has any questions at any point throughout this, throw it in the chat. I will answer it likely at the end, but if I run over, because I hear the timer, which is always something that happens. Just feel free to write it in the chat, and I'll answer it then. Otherwise, I'll answer it at the end. Okay, I'm gonna let it sit. Just rock for now. Actually, no, I'm gonna add in a little garlic. And then I'm gonna give it another toss, and then I'll let it rock. And this type of thing, like, you can put in more veggies if you want. The flavor will be phenomenal regardless. I wouldn't add in like you could add in cauliflower. I wouldn't add in any sort of like Brussels sprout or broccoli situation. That just doesn't seem right. But you could add in other veggies like cauliflower. You could add in, what else could you add in? I mean, it's just so many already. You could just add in more zucchini, I would. You could add in some squash if you wanted to. Like probably some delicata squash would be yummy in here. And it would, it would definitely sweeten up the flavor, but would still be delish. Nothing wrong with that. I'm trying to get these all connected. Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna let this keep going. And while that's going, I will make the Greek pea and potato stew. So I'm going to quickly switch these out. Okay. This one, you guys, is to die for. It's one of my fave things. So the first thing we're going to do is heat olive oil, which I've been doing. And then you are going to add a small yellow onion that's chopped up, which I've done here. Add it in. Going. There we go. Okay. Get this nice and translucent. Oh my god. If anyone knows what's... Can't believe this light. If anyone understands this light, let me know. No, that's better. Okay, just checking. Okay. Let these get nice and translucent a little bit for like a couple minutes, maybe 1 minute. And then we'll add in the potato, which I've chopped up here, and the carrot. The peas are in the freezer, so I'm gonna get them out. Frozen peas are like something that I literally always keep in my freezer. I love frozen peas. I made a pesto, if anyone saw on Instagram. It's like it's like back to the protein thing, like a protein packed pesto. It's made with hemp seed. I'm working with Manitoba Harvest, which is like a really quality hemp seed company. And I made a hemp seed based pesto out of or hemp seed focused pesto with their hemp seeds. And it was really delicious. Somebody posted today, they did the full recipe and they added peas into the pesto, and that was honestly such a good move, and I've been thinking about it since. But I'm happy we're using them here. So yummy. If you're a pesto person, which I feel like we all are, because I feel like we all like the same things, definitely something to check out. I'm gonna give this a little toss over here. Okay, so now we will add in our carrots. Flying carrot over here. Carrots and potato. You can add in as much potato as you want. All of these dishes are also meant to go together. They all flow together. You can eat your salad, then you can pair it with one of your stews. You can have your chicken. You can have it with one of your stews. I mean, they all are so meant to just like be perfectly eaten together and mix it all together, as always. One of my favorite things. Okay. I'm gonna put some water in here into this bowl while we're cooking. And we will add in, I added in the carrots. We will add in, here it is. So I love this brand by Nature strained tomatoes. I've been using them, so I'm just going to use them here. You can use diced tomatoes, as I mentioned, but this totally is not a big deal to use either. So add in a little bit of that. Toss it up. There's something so, I love a tomato sauce. I don't know about you. I die for a tomato sauce. I know some people who would prefer pesto over tomato. I can't really make that choice. They serve such different purposes. I feel like it's crazy to actually choose one over the other. So I won't be doing that at that. Okay, can of that. We have a little bit of water. I'm gonna put some water in. And then I'm gonna let this sit now since I added some 2 cups of water. You want it to just kind of barely cover your potatoes here. Like you don't want it to be all the way up here or else it's gonna get so liquidy. There's something nice and stewy and nice. It's not a soup, it's a stew. And I feel like the difference with that is the less liquid. So you just want it somewhat covered here. I'm gonna switch gears again. Switch pots. Move this guy over here, this over here, while I let that boil. Okay, now, and since these are all the same sort of flavors, or similar flavors, I guess, I'm using the same spoon throughout, which is really, really gorgeous for cleanup. We love that for cleanup. You can see this is already starting to get golden and nice and round. There, it's caramelizing a bit. So I'm gonna throw it back in. And then we are going to add in a little bit of rice vinegar here. Just a little bit, and I'm gonna let it evaporate. It's something just really, really nice. I personally am not a vinegar person, but rice vinegar I actually enjoy and like. Let it sit for a second. And then I'm gonna add in, now it's evaporating, so this is already so heated up so high. I'm gonna add in some of the tomatoes here again. And then I'll also add in, I'm gonna come back over here, got some water again. And you just need, you really just need a third cup of water, so nothing crazy. I'm just adding in that much. I'm just gonna put some to the side, just in case it thickens up a little too much. If you need more, you can always add more. I tend to go for less so that I don't, it's just, you want it to cook down, so I tend to just put a tiny bit less than you think. It smells so good. I hope you guys are cooking with me. If you are, again, drop it in the comments. I love to hear all of it. Okay. Yum, this looks so good. I'm so excited to eat this later. Maybe right after this. Okay. So we put this in. Now we are going to let it simmer for 6 to 7 minutes, and then we'll put in the butter beans after. The butter beans are already cooked and their shape is established, so we don't really need to, we don't really need to let it reconstitute its shape. I'm gonna do a little switcheroo again. Okay, back to our potatoes. We are going to, for the potatoes, we're gonna put in the frozen peas, which are so good. So, out the bag. Hello. is literally the comfiest thing ever. I'm obsessed with it. I've been living in it all winter long, and I'm just so cozy in it. Simply obsessed. I really don't want to get tomato on it though, so this was quite the choice to wear today. Okay. So we put the peas in, and now we're gonna put in a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. A little bit of pepper. Some salt. Potatoes need like a bunch of salt, so just something to think about while you're salting. It looks like it's a lot, but like potatoes are, I mean, they're starchy, obviously, but we typically underestimate how much salt. Got a little pepper in my throat. We typically underestimate how much salt potatoes really need. It's a lot. Okay, so I'm gonna let this thicken up, and I'm gonna do another little switcheroo over here. Because you can tell that this sauce is already thickened too. Isn't this nice how you can just kind of like, it's like literally making 2 pots at once has never been easier, for real. So for this, I let it sit for just a little bit. Now I'm going to add the butter beans in, because you can tell the sauce is reducing. I'm gonna give it another whirl. The butter beans get all nice and in here. So into this. I love this dish. It's so good in the summer too, even if you had it like chilled. Yum. It's like a good, like yummy, summery sort of like eggplant salad. But you could also have it hot, which we will definitely be doing today, seeing that the weather is like 20 something degrees here in New York. No cold eggplant salads over here. Okay, now we are going to add in I'm gonna add in some, I'm not gonna add in capers, but I have some olives, some black olives. So I'm gonna add those in. I love black olives. And then I will add in a mix of parsley and basil. Look how pretty that is. That is so stunning. Okay. And I'm sweating over here. It's hot in this kitchen. Yum. Something I haven't done yet. I'm going to add in some pepper and salt. The reason why I'm adding it in now is because all of these veggies are quite like watery. So if I added them in before, it would just make everything really, really watery. The salt releases water from the vegetables, which is why in past weeks we've salted the eggplant to release the moisture and then pat dried them before we roasted an eggplant. Same deal here. It releases a bunch of the moisture with zucchini as well, really watery vegetables. So we wanted to, it's better to avoid doing that, and instead just adding the salt in at the end is literally not a problem with something like this. Everything else is so fragrant and like delicious and everything, so it's no problem at all. Okay. Here, let's added in some garlic, like 1 spoonful of garlic to the potatoes. The potatoes now are starting to boil, so what I'm gonna do, you can't see, but once they start to get to a rolling boil, you're gonna leave them uncovered on a simmer for like 30 minutes. And that's gonna go past our time, but that's fine. It's not a big deal. I'll send you a picture. And then at the end, at the last 10 minutes, by the way, with the Greek stew, the peas and potato stew, you're gonna add in some of the dill, like a handful of chopped dill, and you'll squeeze in some lemon if you want it. You don't have to do it, but if you like lemon like I do, then adding that in is really, really, really good. We love a lemony potato moment. I do. This is so yummy though. This looks like to die, right? And that's our stew. Oh my gosh, and our squash is done too. Look at that. That looks it looks really, really good. You guys like can't totally see. Maybe you can over here. Let's see if I can get the right angle. It looks so yummy. It's like super caramelized. Everything's like cooked so nicely. It smells like divine. Honestly, even if you're not vegan, you wouldn't miss the chicken here. This is like so good. It kind of looks like chicken. I'm gonna put it back on the stove. And while this continues to like cook, I'm gonna turn this down as well. Turn the oven off. I'm gonna turn this down a little bit too. Let it keep going, and then we're gonna move over here. Oh, I'm also gonna show you before we move on to salad. I used cocoa June for the yogurt situation. So I just used honestly like one of these small containers they have, and I do this all the time whenever I'm making like tzatziki, like a vegan tzatziki or something. I just put in my chopped, like you would do this if you were just eating the yogurt, but I'm doing this for, I just don't feel like I'm using every bowl in my apartment. So I use this with some chopped garlic and some chopped parsley. I threw in a little lemon and some sea salt, and it's so good. This is like one of my favorite things, honestly, for like any sort of vegetable. I love putting this on. It adds such like a freshness, even if you were putting it on the Greek stew or the Sicilian eggplant stew. Like if you just put like a dollop on, or if you did the tahini drizzle like I mentioned, you really can't go wrong. Both are so good. So I just did it straight in here to reduce white bowls, because I'm sick of using all my white bowls, and why not, right? So as mentioned, I already massaged the, what's it called? The kale, already massaged the kale. And let me make a little room over here. I already chopped up this dill. I love dill. Okay. Grabbing something over here. Okay. So chopped up the dill. And then I chopped up all the other things that we are using. So I actually was already prepping for a client earlier today, and I shredded up some carrots. So it's in here, and then chopped the red pepper, like you saw in the stew that's on the other side of the screen. So chop this up, putting it in. Yum. And these are the kind of salads, by the way, that if you're going to the office or you're just even at home doing work at home, it doesn't matter, like you still don't have time necessarily to make lunch. So these are the types of things that will last in your fridge for like 2 days. So have it for Monday, Tuesday, replenish it, keep going. I mean, honestly, it's so easy to make when you have these already prepped, or all these ingredients already prepped at least. And then I roasted up the chickpeas, throwing them in, and throw this out. Okay. And grab a pair of tongs. Turn this off. I'll toss this up. And then I'm also gonna add in some parsley. It would be really yummy here. It's already chopped up, so it was tempting for me. So you put these in, and then we're gonna add in some sesame seeds just to give it a little bit more nuttiness, even though the dressing will do that. There we go. Leave them all. Why not? And then toss it up again. Yum. And then I pre-mixed the dressing that that I wrote to you guys about a few times. and I put it in my little bullet container, which is so cute and it's easy to pour. So it's just the 2 tablespoons of tahini, tamari or soy sauce, lemon juice, grated ginger, maple syrup, water, and then you'll toss in the salad. I'm not eating it this second, but once you're ready to eat it, toss it in, set it to the side. You could pre-toss it in if you wanted to. I'm just not, but it wouldn't hurt it if you wanted to do it right now and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna have this in a couple hours. It's fine. It's not a problem. It'll just break down the kale more, which is we like that, so that's not even a problem. I'm gonna throw this back in here, but that's 30 minutes. I feel like I'm getting better at this. Maybe I think I am for you guys, because I don't know, I feel like all this stuff can be done. I mean, the prep takes probably the other 30 minutes, but this, like doing all this and just actually throwing it together, is 30 minutes long. And again, proving once again that you do not have to spend a whole Sunday meal prepping in your kitchen. You can literally take 1 hour out and then you can go on with the rest of your day. And that's a beautiful thing. We love that. Checking for questions over on YouTube. And I don't see any right now. So if anyone does have any questions going forward, just shoot me a message, write it in the Facebook group so that I can write an answer that everyone will have visibility to. Check out all the other episodes too if you just want to, or the other episodes. It's on YouTube. The other episodes too. If you want to, switch up your meal prep. We have so much now in the library, so we are I'm so excited about that. I love having this many episodes out for everybody to check out if they want to get inspired or meal prep themselves. And I appreciate everyone here for taking 30 minutes out of your Sunday to meal prep with me and be here. And if, again, any questions, Facebook group is where it's at. You can message me, but again, Facebook group. And I hope everyone has a beautiful week. I hope it's delicious. And seriously, just enjoy every second. I hope this weather I hope it stays beautiful.